Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Staley and English Show podcast. I'm your man, Coach English, here with Coach Josh Staley. Josh, how was your week?
All is well, brother. Great week at work. My Florida State Seminoles didn't get the big W like I thought they were. The biggest story is DeAndre Francois going down. Hopefully he gets a speedy recovery. So we're going to be dependent on true freshman James Blackman. I think he'll go in there and do a great job. But other than that, all is well. God is good, and we're ready to get to another podcast.
Yeah, to recap a little bit, we started our two-part series on the state of high school sports. We talked about academics. We talked about the multi-sport player. And we also talked about AAU versus high school and the relationships between the coaches and kind of sort of what kids should and shouldn't do and what parents should and shouldn't know.
Yeah, we got some really good feedback from the first podcast, and we really appreciate that. One of the topics that was discussed on my Facebook page was the multi-sport athlete, and some of the listeners made great points, fantastic points on how hard it is to be a multi-sport athlete and say you want to get a Division I basketball scholarship, because so many kids are working on their game year-round, so you can find yourself falling behind, and some great points were made.
Yeah, well, I got the same kind of feedback on the Twitter on our Twitter. They had a conversation going about mostly that was pretty much the same sentiments that was on your Facebook page. I think that it is tough for a kid that's saying they want to go to Division I in any sport to say, hey, I'm going to dedicate part of this time to another sport, but you know, some kids do it, some kids don't. I think it just kind of depends on the child and on the kid, the student athlete, and where they fall on that totem pole. This week, once again, if you have some comments that you'd like to share, you can either join the conversation with us on Twitter when it's up, or you can email it to us, the Staley and English Show at gmail.com. And that and is A-N-D. All right, it's not an and symbol. So today we're going to start the second part. We're going to start off with program building. We're going to get to playing time. We're going to get to etiquette, transfers, and social media. All right, we're going to start off with program building. So, Josh, what do you think?
Building a program, when you're trying to run a successful high school program, you have to have a systematic approach. You have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy. And you have to have a vision that you can actually turn into action. Me, myself, I build my program in 3 phases. You have off season, you have preseason, and you have the actual season. Off season for me usually consists of the spring and the summer, and then you have preseason, which are those immediate months in the fall, right before the actual season begins. What are your take on some of the things it takes to build a program, Coach English?
Well, I think when you're talking about building a program, you have those 3 phases. That's first off, because you have to consistently be working with your kids, getting them better, helping them to hone their skills. Well, let's say this: the ones that show up in the off season, that really want, the ones that, and if the program is built correctly, everybody wants to be there. Let's talk, that right there. Everybody wants to be there. There's nobody that wants to miss because they feel like they're going to miss out on something. Then you have, then there's that part right before the season where you kind of start to narrow down who's going to make the team and who you start to feel that particular part out. But you don't want to discourage those other kids because you never know, that kid might come back next year, and because they're working out with you, if you're doing your job well, when you have somebody else you can add to the team. But it's also gaining a relationship with your feeder program. It's also instilling core beliefs, core values in your teams, helping them to understand what the vision of this program is. What does your program stand on, basically? And that's why it's called building. You have to make that foundation so that it's strong enough for a kid to say, okay, we're built on me getting better, me getting the best that I can out of life, per se. And if that's basketball, it's basketball. If it's in the classroom, it's in the classroom. But they need to know to go hard every minute, every day. That's kind of where I stand on it. And I think that if you don't have that plan, like you said, as far as building, because you can't go out there and say, hey, we're going to win. You know, it has to be, okay, we got to start here. And then we have to crawl first, and then we can walk, then we can run. But it's a process. And getting kids, see, I heard that saying, fall in love with the process, not the results. Fall in love with the process and not the results. And that's what I'm honing to my kids now.
Yeah, one of the things I think you have to start with is parent communication. Parents have to know exactly what you're trying to do with your program. They have to know important dates. They have to know your vision. They have to know your goals. So you want to communicate that with parents as efficient as possible. And you're right. Your program has to be built on something. Like, what is your rally call? What are your core beliefs? Getting your feeder program is extremely involved. So you have to have coaches within your program you can trust, because you can't run a program by yourself. You have to have reliable, loyal, hardworking coaches. If you're a varsity high school coach, you got to have a great connection with your feeder program from JV, B team if you have that in middle school. You need to be running the same system. And at each level, it's a little different. Your middle school system isn't going to be as detailed as your JV system, and your JV isn't going to be as detailed as your varsity.
Exactly.
But they all have to be working parts of what's going to lead to the end result, which is ultimately having a great varsity program. You want your kids with the mindset of everyone should want to aim to make varsity, but they should also be able to accept where they are at that current time.
And I think a part of building a program, and I'm going to come back to another point you made, but I just want to piggyback off that point. A part of building a program is each player understanding their role on the team. That's huge, and I think that falls into your communication piece, being able to sit down with the parents and having them understand, hey, look, your kid's not going to score 30 a game. We need him to get 15 rebounds a game. That's a part. That's his game. That's his strength. Now we can work towards whatever his personal goals might be, but his role on the team is this at this moment. And then you said something that was very, very what a lot of people find, what a lot of coaches take for granted. It is hard. It is so hard as a head varsity coach to find assistant coaches and guys in your feeder program that are loyal, that are hardworking, and that you can honestly say that you can trust. It is tough to find, and that's why you a lot of times see coaches take their assistants with them when they go to a new job. You want that familiarity, and all you can do is hope that it's not that far away where they can't get to. But it's tough when you're in a situation where you can't trust the people that you're with or that's with you, that's supposed to be riding for you. And you watching the kids, you watching everything, and then you watching them. And I've been in that situation a couple of times, and you got to make changes, you got to monitor and adjust, but it's really, really hard. And then not only that, now that you done beat all of that, now you got to find a good coach. Now they got to be good. You can't just put any old Tom, Dick, and Harry out there and say, hey, man, I need you to coach because I trust you, because I know that you're going to be loyal to me. It's got to be, hey, is whatever you're telling or trying to get across to these kids, is this correct? Can you teach rather than be a friend? Can you be a mentor rather than be a friend? And I think that's a part. It's so much into program building that people take for granted, and that's why you see coaches that when they get to a certain plateau, they kind of stay, because it takes a long time to find that fit where you've put in the time. It takes you what do you think? 3-4 years to really build a program to actually start to see the benefits of what you're building if you're doing the job right. Without jumping the ship. I mean, it's so much that goes into it that you kind of it scares some people off, and then some people it makes them work harder.
Yeah, it takes a lot. And me personally, something I want all my assistant coaches aiming to be head coaches.
Bingo.
If they don't have that mindset to be a head coach, that means they aren't going to put in the extra work to help your program be successful, because the more successful the program is, the better chances it is for them becoming a head coach because they're building their resume. From a basketball perspective, just talking to coaches, especially younger coaches, I think you need a guy that's with you at all times that just maybe just focus on coaching your sport. You need a guy that just focus on, like, I'm a basketball coach, so I need an assistant coach that only coaches basketball. Yeah. It's going to be there. It's going to help me in the off season. Going to be there during the summer months, in the spring months, the fall grind, because you cannot do it by yourself. You're going to need that guy that can be there at all times. And preferably, you need that guy to be on, from a high school perspective, you need that guy to be on campus with you. Hopefully you can get that. But getting back into rounding program building up. So if we got to put like an umbrella on this thing and like a flow chart on how it should look, I think it starts with you got to have great parent communication, because that's where it starts. And then you go players. Your players got to know exactly what you're trying to do. The skill development, the academic. How do you approach your program building from an academic perspective? Like, do you turn progress reports in weekly, or is it by every 2 weeks? So you got to have your academic piece in place more first and foremost. Then you get into your skill development. Then you get into your character development. So, like, however you put those things in place, it has to be something that goes around on a yearly basis. You can't just do it during the season. It's something you have to work on your program on a yearly basis, and you have to have a plan in place. You can't just go off the hip. If you're going off the hip every now and then, that's fine. But you got to be able to have something in place, a plan in place, where you actually can see the work being done. Because at the end of the day, you want your program to turn into a machine. And the more efficient you can work, and the more smart you can work, the more you get out of the program. You don't want to just constantly smash rocks with a sledgehammer and find yourself tired all the time. You want your program to work as efficient as possible.
And my last point here is, and this is not to toot your horn, because I don't like tooting your horn too much, but I think since I've known you, you have, 4 or 5 guys now that are current head coaches that have coached under you. And I think that's a testament to you and the job you're doing, because, and these are not JV coaches, you're talking about varsity coaches of programs that are successful, and they're successful coaches. They're not, they're not mediocre or coming back to you saying, hey, I need a job because I just got fired. They're successful. And that's a testament to you. And talking about communicating, I think a lot of times something that gets lost between coaches and parents that makes it a really, really touchy subject between coaches and parents is playing time. Playing time is huge. I did an exercise with my team last year, and I said, okay, there's five people that could be on the floor at one time. There's 32 minutes in the game. So what we multiplied 32 times 5, and that gives you the total minutes that could possibly be played in the game. I said, everybody in a piece of paper, write down how many minutes of those minutes you think you should play per game. How many minutes do you feel you should play per game? And everybody wrote down. I said, but it can't exceed 32. All right. So everybody wrote down, folded it up, and it was so far above the actual minutes in the game.
Of the game.
Yeah.
Playing time is huge, man. At the end of the day, you would want your parents, your players, or whoever's in your kid's ear at the time to understand, focus on whatever it takes the team to win. Focus on whatever it takes the team to win. That would take a lot of problems out of so many locker rooms, so many teams. Because at the end of the day, the only like, when it comes to issues I have with players, the only time I have like problem with players, it always falls back to playing time. It's not how I treat them. It's not how I coach them. It's not how I talk to them. It's not me fighting to get them in college or fighting to get them in school. It's none of those things. Because all of that comes, like me fighting to get you in college and give you a great opportunity falls into program building. We're going to put a program in place where you're going to have the opportunity to get better.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight and use my connections to help you get in college if that's your goal. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give you the avenues to get better, which ultimately control your playing time. So I always tell my players, you control your playing time.
Yep.
I don't control playing time. You hear words like, oh, he have favorites, and that's favoritism. Well, I am going to be maybe the first coach to ever say this. Yes, coaches have favorites. And I want you to sincerely comprehend this. You want to know who the coaches have show favoritism towards or to? The players that are going to give them the most favorable opportunity to win.
Yeah.
So the opportunity is yours. You know, that coach of philosophy, what that coach believe in, you hear people use the cliche, oh, they don't know what they're doing, or he don't know how to coach. Well, that's a whole nother argument, because I would like to see you come in and try to run a program. Okay?
Yeah.
I would like to see you come in and practice every day and try to run a program. But the players that give that coach, that team, that program, the most favorable opportunity to be successful. I even take the W word out. I'll take the win word out. The kid that gives that coach, that program, the most favorable opportunity to be successful, those are going to be the kids that are on the floor. No ifs and buts about it, unless somebody's being punished, unless somebody's being admonished for a mistake that they made. But that's how it goes.
I mean, and that's the hard part, I think, for parents to really, truly understand. Like, I have to put on the floor I have to put the kid on the floor that I trust will give me the most successful outcome that we could possibly have. Because the real deal in it, we're not going to win every game. That's just the real of it. You have had some undefeated teams, but you go in this game.
That's your Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
He doesn't lose.
Well, that's debatable on that last fight. So, I mean, you know, that was a money grab. But anyway, that's a topic for a whole nother day. Now you got me thinking about Floyd Mayweather. Anyway, but when you really look at it, the kids don't come to workouts all the time. When I put you in practice, you don't know the plays. You're playing park ball. You're no longer playing team ball. You're taking selfish shots. Yeah, the ball is dropping, but it's detrimental to the rest of the team at that moment. You know, shoot, even in little things like just run the transition, where you're supposed to be on the press, knowing where your man is. So what I started doing a little while ago was recording my practices, so that when I get approached, although in my handbook that I give to the parents, it states in bold letters, the one subject that will not be discussed is playing time. We can talk about anything else you want to talk about. Playing time won't be discussed. But knowing parents as the way we know the parents, I started recording practice and just recording it. And recording it and recording it and recording it. And so that when they come in and say, hey, coach, about playing time and this and why he's not on the floor and I pull up the tape. Here's him here. You see, he doesn't have his man on defense. Here's him here. He's supposed to be doing this. He's not doing that. I said, so how can I trust that in the game? This is practice where there's nothing at stake. How do I trust that in the game he's going to be able to perform a duty that he did not do? Because it's like trying to pass a test without studying.
Well, it's a lot at stake at practice. It's
your playing time.
But this is something I tell my kids. Your parents are going. I understand your parents wanting you to be on the floor. Now, I never have a problem with that. No. Because at the end of the day, your parents are only going to be advocates of you. They're going to come to the game. It's rare to find that parent that comes to the game and wholeheartedly cheers for the well-being of the team, whether you're on the floor or not. Okay, so your parents are going to be advocates of you. I don't even fight that monster anymore. Okay, because I want them and I embrace them being advocates of you. But here's where it gets tricky. Don't just be a vocal or an emotional advocate for your kid in their playing time. Be an action advocate. You want your kid to get on the floor more? Okay, figure out ways how to get your kid better where the coach can't keep them off the floor. Yeah. Okay? That's how you become an advocate for a kid, not asking the coach, well, why my kid not getting in the game, or How come they didn't get any playing time? Ask the coach, what can my kid do to get better? And most coaches will tell you that. Now, if the coach can't communicate that with
then
you,
there's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay? But be an advocate early. See, here's the problem. If you wait until that kid is already on the team, then figure out what can I do to try to get that kid to get my kid on the floor more, get them more playing time, it's kind of too late.
Yeah, it's already too late.
Season. But you have to be an advocate early. You have to start early if you want your child to be one of the players that dominates the floor, that gets majority of the minutes. I mean, let's just be real here. Sports, everyone doesn't get a chance. Okay? The best man up, the best man usually wins. The best man up is usually on the floor. Even though you may feel that my child is just as good, or I hear the excuse, well, they make mistakes too. Well, Michael Jordan making a turnover isn't the same thing as Craig Hodges making a turnover.
Yeah.
You understand? Because Craig Hodges is not going to average 31 a game. Mm-hmm. Craig Hodges isn't going to look Clyde Drexler and Magic Johnson in the face and say, I'm only going to let you score 21 tonight. Yeah. Okay? So you have to be fair. But if you're going to be an advocate of your children, and you should be in everything you do, and I admire parents who do. I have 2 kids of my own, and I want them on the floor. But let me tell you something I do. We get out, them boys come home, they do their homework, they study, they get fussed at for not cleaning their room. Then we go in the yard and we work on our games. Okay? We go practice. I didn't like how much he played this with this AAU team, or we wanted more playing time in this rec league. Okay, I'm not going to ask the coach what the problem is. I know what the problem is. Son, you're missing too many shots. You don't dribble the ball well enough. Yep. You didn't get any steals. You didn't get any assists. How many rebounds did you get? Because if you're doing these things, unless your coach is ludicrous, you're going to be on the floor. Uh-huh. So I go out and we work on our game, and we work in an intense manner. Or if you don't know how to do that, find someone that can. If you don't know, email us. I know several very, very good trainers. I know several very good that you can trust. Their prices aren't outrageous, and they're going to get your child better. But, and not just basketball. I'm talking about various sports, not just basketball. But at the end of the day, playing time is a mirror issue. What do you mean by a mirror issue, Coach? You have to look in it. And the only way you're going to get better is if you look at yourself in that mirror and see the things that you don't do well. Yep. It takes a very mature parent, a very mature child to be like, you know what? I did a shooting drill today. We shot 100 I had to make 100 shots. It took me 250 shots to make 100. You're not a very good shooter. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you need to continue to work. But that's the beautiful thing about life. You can keep getting better at something. But the beautiful thing about sports, it is a true reflection of life, because life is about survival of the fittest a lot. And you have to be able to put yourself in a situation. You have to know how to acquire the correct resources to get yourself better.
But you're not, and not only that, but I tell my kids, you want to see how someone lives his life, watch them play a sport. You want to see how they live their life, watch them play a sport, because they will grind as hard as they want to through the adversity, through the bad times, through the good times. I also tell my players, this is what I tell my players, when we watch film, do y'all watch for your highlights, or do you watch for your mistakes? I said, being a student of the game is not about putting up your highlights on your social media. It's about finding out what was my assist to turnover ratio? What was my rebound percentage? What was my shot percentage? Why was that shot off? Why did I miss that shot? Was that a good shot? Was that a bad shot? If you're not doing that, like you said, looking in that mirror, because the thing about it is everybody wants to see the positive in everything they do. To be better, you have to look at the negative. What did I do wrong in any situation? That's life. If you ended up somewhere messed up, you can't blame somebody else. Mm-hmm. You can't blame somebody else. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, what decision got me here? There was some point on this journey that got me here that I did something wrong. I went to the wrong place. I turned the wrong corner when I should have went home. Whatever it is, it was something that got you here instead of where you wanted to be. And so you have got to determine, as a parent, what is your kid's weakness so that you can help them work on it. Because no matter what, You know what your kid is doing wrong. You know, like you said, but coach.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Well, some of them do.
That's where the trick comes in. You have to view your child's ability from an honest perspective. You can't do it from a fan. You have to be honest. And most people aren't going to be honest because they're going to because when that child comes home frustrated and upset, I want to play more and I want to do this. Your job your natural instinct as a parent is to figure out how to make your child feel better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To nurture that child. Well, sometimes making your child better isn't what always make them feel good. Okay? You have to be honest with your child, which gets into let's talk about proper etiquette. Okay? Okay, if I want playing time. I want to get on the floor. Okay? As parents, talk to the people that your child are a part of. Like if your child's a part of this program, they go to this school, be able to talk to the coach and ask the coach, what's in place for my child to get better? And with what you already have in place, what can we do to supplement that?
Yeah.
Okay? So you have to do that. That's the first step. As a student athlete, you want playing time, make sure you're at everything your coach requires. Be there. And which gets into, I hate to keep bringing it up, which gets into the multi-sport thing. It kind of makes it tough. But at the end of the day, your blueprint is your blueprint. It still ways around it. And how bad do you want this thing? Life is too short to worry about what's fair and what's unfair. And I'm a person that really believes in being fair, equality, equity, and all those good things. But you have to figure out, okay, coach says do this, I'm going to do this and figure out a way to do it on the side. And as coaches, we have to make sure we are rendering a program that allows kids to get better. Now, I will be honest. If you aren't doing that, then that's not fair to the kid.
Yeah.
Okay? You have to give them the opportunity to get better, not just every now and then, but on a consistent basis.
But see, those guys anyway, I mean, those guys don't last long in the game no matter what. You know, they may last a year or 2, 3 maybe. But eventually, their time runs out when their talent runs out. I remember something you said to me a while ago. You said, a good program never graduates. So that means you work your behind off. I work my behind off. We know plenty of people in our circle that work their butts off to make sure that these kids are I'm consistently turning out a product that is good. I'm consistently turning out a product that has me always in a position, has the kids in a position to always be successful. But that's us. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, people don't live by the same, laws of ethics that we do. You know, and that's where bad etiquette comes in. That's when you got coaches who will talk to your kids and try to get them to come to transfer. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is bad etiquette. If there's a kid, I had a situation, the kid texts me. You know what I instantly did? I screenshotted and sent it to my AD. Said, hey, look, I never talked to this kid none. And I also called the school in which he came from and talked to the coach. Said, hey, this kid contacted me. I don't even know him. Just letting you know, because that's etiquette. That's ethics.
Everybody's not going to follow that protocol. Like sitting at the game and screaming at the coach and talking about other people's kids isn't going to get your child on the floor any faster. Okay, that's terrible etiquette. Players, bad body language, hunched over on the bench, not cheering for your teammates,
putting the towel on your head.
That's not going to get you on the floor, because I can be in the heat of the battle several times, and I might think, in my mind, I need somebody to go out there for like 12 seconds and give me some energy and come right back out while this kid catches their breath. Well, that 12 seconds might change your whole role on the team, because you might go out there and exceed my expectations. Mm-hmm. But if your energy is bad and you're being negative on the bench, you won't be able to do that. You have to be completely dialed in, but that's where it's tough, because majority of people put themselves first. And when you live your life from a me first perspective, it's hard to be a part of anything great.
You block your blessing
an overwhelming majority of most things great are shared. Mm-hmm. Anything great is shared. Great law firms. You got to have great people work. You got to have great paralegals. You have to have a great team of lawyers. You got to have a great board of directors. So everything that is great
It's shared.
is shared.
And to that point, where I am now, where I'm coaching at now, there's these big, they have these huge life-size posters of the state championships they won. And I know none of these kids. I know all of them have a ring. I don't know who played 2 minutes for the entire season or who played 2,000 minutes for the entire season. All I know is on this picture, all of them are extremely elated. All of them have on the high school league medal. And there's a bunch of people in the picture that probably never bounced the ball. You know?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what, man. I've been blessed to have success. I've had great players. I've had great parents. And I've had really good administration to back and support me throughout my career. And a lot of my kids are fortunate enough to go to college. I mean, I could think about every year. I haven't had 1 year, and all glory goes to God. I haven't had 1 year where we didn't have at least 2 kids signed. Okay, and the common denominator was successful programs. I never had a 30-point score. Heck, I've never had a kid average 25. I just had a kid signed to go to college. Last year, James Reese averaged right around 20. And that's because some nights he would just be flat out on fire. But I've never had a kid that averaged 25. But I did have a bunch of kids that committed to winning and doing whatever it takes to be successful. And that's why kids get signed. I've had 4-point scores get full rides. I've had 12-point scores get full rides. But at the end of the day, college coaches want to bring in kids that win. But if you're winning, that means you know how to play the game.
Yeah.
And I'm in a position right now where it's even hard for me to go to college games to watch my kids play because it's so many of them playing. So if I go here, this person's going to feel shafted. If I go there, I'm going to have DeJoria Howard saying, "Man, coach, why you didn't come to my game?" So and it's a good problem. So I just watch them. You got to get the total sports package or the apps, and you watch from there, and you text them and talk to them after that about the game. But at the end of the day, winners move on. Okay, winners move on, and most winners, all winners. I'm gonna make that definite. True winners, all true winners are willing to do whatever it takes to be successful. And if that means a little bit less on your individual plate for the group to eat, that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And that's what true winners do. But go ahead.
So much has been put into. See, you got to remember with these kids, and when you, so much has been put into them. The glorification of individuality within a team sport. You know what I'm saying? You don't, as they're out in the street, hey man, shoot, you should have scored 30 last night, but coach took you out, or you should have, you had this, you had that, but it's always geared around points. And the good kids, the good ones, the really, really good ones, understand, you know what? If I'm trying to go to college to be a point guard, scoring 50 on a losing team does not really help my cause. I need to make a goal of making 7-8 assists a game. If I'm talking about going to college and being a point guard, I might need to be able to get me about 2-3 steals a game. I might need to be able to possibly wiggle my way into that paint and rebound.
Out of the words of Carell Johnson, head girls coach at AC Floor right now. Great players do whatever it takes to win.
Whatever it takes.
I don't care if it's points, rebounds, assists. Great players do whatever it takes to win, and and that answers your playing time question right there. Usually, those are the players on the floor. Okay, players might just be satisfied with getting 10 points so their name can be in the paper, but great players, the ones that move on, the ones that get to go to school for free. Those are the ones that move on because they're willing to do whatever it takes to win. And most people don't have that mindset because they have been wrongfully taught that there's this cookie cutter way you have to look in order to get a scholarship in order to get looks. That's not true. I've talked to several coaches. I had a coach tell me one time, look, coach, look, Josh, I want an undersized post. So, you never know what a coach is looking for. You have some coaches like big point guards, some coaches like shifty point guards, some coaches like to start basically two guards that can run the point in their backcourt. But when you focus on whatever it takes to win, you're going to come to those off-season workouts. You're going to be committed to the team. You're going to get it done in the classroom, and you and your parents are going to understand that the bigger picture is team success. And like Coach David Smith always says, everyone eats, B. Everyone eats, and everyone gets the opportunity to eat when everyone puts what they have to offer on the plate.
Yeah.
But if you're holding back, I ain't putting my bread on the plate, man. Shoot, I don't want him eating none of my bread.
I don't want him eating none of my bread.
He can't go as hard because he needed some bread. But if he would have had some bread, you would have got some of his green beans. So now his green beans might have gave you the kick you need to make that last second jump shot. Everyone has to put everything they have to offer on the plate. But I'm telling you, Frank Martin said it best. It's not the kid that has changed. It's the adults around them.
Yeah.
I won't even say parents because it's
more
not
than
just parents. It's the adults around them. I remember being little and I had nowhere to turn. I remember my aunt stopping me from running from my mom so I can get that butt cutting. I remember men I did not know telling me to stop and do the right thing. So it's so many levels to this thing as far as what it takes for children to be successful. But at the end of the day, the great players do whatever it takes to be successful. And if you look, and I tell my players this all the time, are y'all looking at basketball? Don't just look at the great ones. Like you look at, I'll give you a couple of examples. You go LeBron James. This dude goes to the finals a whole lot. Okay? And they say, well, he's not winning it every year. It's hard as hell to win championships. Okay? It's just as hard
to get there
on a consistent basis because everyone plays you a little bit different. It's hard to be the man because now they're coming at you in every single way. He does whatever. He rebounds, he plays D, he gets assists. He does whatever it takes for his team to win. Then let's look at the Kentucky men's basketball program. Coach Calipari brings in rock stars. All of these kids, high school All-Americans, McDonald All-Americans, Jordan Brand Game All-Americans, just rock stars, okay? And he gets them to play for one common purpose, to win.
Yeah.
So those guys win, and then their ultimate goal comes into realization. They go to the NBA. The NBA doesn't say, oh, we don't want you because you average 31 a game in high school, but you only average 8 a game at Kentucky. No, they say, yo, this guy's a winner.
Because he went to Kentucky.
He does whatever it takes to win. So we want this guy.
Yeah.
And those guys go on to the league. But winners move on. Y'all remember that, young people? You remember that, parents? Winners move on. It's very hard to be a really good individual in a losing situation and move on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, if I'm a college coach and I see this team has made the playoffs every year for the last 8 years and make deep runs every year, I want to go see what they got. It's very hard for you to be recognized as a guy that's scoring 30, 35 a game on a team that's not even winning. Okay? So, though you may still get recognized, being a winner will always outweigh an individual that's only focused on themselves having great stats.
Well, I think that a lot of that ends up getting lost on the people that we're talking to. Those that want to hear us will, because at the end of the day, this isn't what we're saying now. Isn't the first time we've said it. It's not the first time other coaches have said it. It's not the first time pundits have said it. It's something that just is, and that's the sooner that the kids and the parents and the adults around the kids start to understand the importance of I need to give up a little bit of myself. Anything worth having requires sacrifice. Anything. I don't care whether it's being married, your job, playing time, anything worth having requires sacrifice. Now, last season we had a pretty okay season. It wasn't great. We got to the second round. I had no kids that averaged over 15. And we were thought to have had somewhat of a successful season, compared to some prior seasons. But, at my previous school, I didn't have a kid that averaged more than 15.
But a couple of those kids are in school playing ball right now.
Yeah, division. Ozante Fields. Let's take him for instance. I got a phone call. They saw this thing on Match Prep. Ozante Fields is not a scorer. Me and Ozante talked, and I said, "Hey, listen, you 6'7", and you could rebound the heck out the ball." I said, "If you grab every offensive rebound and put it back, every single one, you at least gonna get off of 10 misses 20 points." And not only that, but you got the 20 rebounds. You got the 10 rebounds to go with that. And then on the other end, I know you defensive board. So a coach calls and says, "Hey, coach, is this Match Prep right? This boy is averaging 20 rebounds a game." I said, "Yeah." "Well, I got to come see it." I said, "Well, come on. We play such and such tonight." Shows up. And I think that night he ends up with 25 rebounds. He had, 12 points. But they offered him on the spot.
In front of it. And so he got 25 rebounds in front of
In front of the coach. He didn't even know the coach was coming because I didn't tell him. That's just a part of what his game was. So he sacrificed. He understood his role. His role was to rebound. And if in that rebounding he happened to get a couple of points from putbacks, it is what it is. The point guard understood, if I drive to this basket, the give up of me is I could take this selfish layup, contest it, or I can dish it off, or I can kick it open, kick it off. Like, it was the unselfishness that made them. And a couple of them, 2 of them are playing college ball now. So, you have to do what the great ones, like you said, do what it takes to be successful. But that's one of those subjects that I think we could continue on and on and on and on.
Playing time and proper etiquette with how to get on the floor is always going to be big. But like I said, work on your game, get better, have a great attitude, always show great body language, and people will even be more patient with you to develop to get on the floor. But you got to be honest with yourself also. You can't be like, I pick up a football or a soccer ball or baseball once or twice a week or once or twice a month and think you're gonna get better. That's never gonna. It's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
Unless you're just an unbelievable athlete. But and that's going to ultimately catch up with you. It's going to catch up with you. But playing time has a direct effect, if not the largest effect, on our next topic, which are transfers. Okay. At this point in the game, it's going to be really hard to change up how transfers work. I think people are going to continue to transfer. I think people are going to continue to be in search for what they feel or what they believe is best for them. But I just don't think it's at every level. It's at college. It's at high school. Mm-hmm. It's in the travel team element to a certain degree, and they have full right to do so. It's in the pros. Okay, free agents are always looking for the best situation for them, but in the non-pro arena, college, high school, transfers is kind of turning into an epidemic. Okay. People are getting up and leaving without even a reason at times.
Yeah.
You might say, I'm not getting on the floor that much, or this guy, I'm not going to beat this guy, so I'm going to transfer because I want to play and be able to show what I could do. That's fine. Knock yourself out. That's your choice. I'm leaving because I don't believe in the coach philosophy, or I don't like the way he do things. That's fine. Believe in that. Knock yourself out. But at the end of the day, I don't know if we'll ever be able to battle the transfer element, because I don't think it's going anywhere. But if you are going to transfer, I do believe it's a certain way that things should go. Like, it's certain protocol you should follow.
Definitely. I think you need to have a conversation with the coach.
Right.
Because I'd say 80% of the time to 90% of the time, there's never a conversation with the coach that you're leaving. Mm-hmm. You need to, as the coach that's receiving this transfer, I think that you should call the coach that the kid's leaving and say, hey, man, this kid just showed up on campus. Kind of have a conversation about that. The kid needs to be in the conversation as well. And it's not necessarily to explain why, but just to give you the courtesy to let you know. Because I'm gonna be honest, 80 to 90% of the time, we do not know that the kid is transferring until they do.
Right. Or
it might be little rumors.
We don't even know that the parents have sentiments of them transferring until it's like it's already in action. But again, here's the thing: I'm not going to go on my pillow and cry at night because you decide my situation isn't what's best for your kid, and I wouldn't expect any of my peers to do so. But that old saying, you don't want to burn bridges, is very, very important.
Because you never know when you got to cross that bridge.
Right. It's certain. And that's why I handle everything I handle the way it is. Like, if you come to me like, look, coach, I don't think it's the best situation for me. I'm looking at this and blah, blah, blah. Heck, I'll sit down and try to see if we can find a better situation for you.
Yeah.
If that's what it is. It might not be a thing of me trying to convince you to stay. But most people don't. I think when you do it in a sneaky manner, that means you have something to hide.
Yeah.
If you say, man, look, I ain't getting enough playing time, so I want to transfer, that's fine. But let's talk about why you didn't get a whole lot of playing time here, so you don't make that same mistake the next place you go. And because at the end of the day, I told a young player this the other day, it's like, if you transfer, right, you're transferring because you want to play college ball, you want more playing time. Fine. I respect that. You feel playing time is going to equate to you getting more looks, which gives you a higher opportunity to get a scholarship. Fine. You couldn't beat the guys out here. You couldn't beat your local guys out. Okay?
What makes you think?
Let's say you go to a new place where you play, a new high school and play. And you beat those guys out, right? When it's scholarship time, who are you going to be competing against again for that scholarship? The same guys that you couldn't beat out.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, somebody might say, well, but they can play and show what they can do. That's fine. But at the end of the day, in competition, you're still going to have to beat someone out.
No matter what level it is. Shoot, you got to beat somebody out at your job to get the job that you have.
Right. That's just how it is. Everybody doesn't get a swing. In Little League, my youngest son, Jason, is excited before the game, and he might be even more excited after the game because they get snacks.
Yeah.
They get snacks. Once you get to the high school and college level, not to even mention pro, we won't even bring that up. Once you get to the high school and college level, everyone doesn't get a snack at the end.
Yeah.
Okay? You have winners and you have losers. You're not going to, like you said, you want to ultimately believe you can win every game, and you can believe that, but that's just not the reality of it. Like I said, unless you're Floyd, okay? Unless you're Floyd, and the reality of it is, you have to start accepting the harsh truths of life. And I can accept a kid transferring to me. That comes with the territory. But what I want to educate parents on is the steps it takes to do that.
Yeah.
What do you say? Communicate with your coach. Sit down and talk about what went wrong and why you guys came to this decision. So maybe that coach can. Now, some coaches might be like, "Okay, fine, leave. I don't want to talk to you." I'm not like that.
But then you are justified in the reason you leave, because if that's the reaction you get, you're justified in what your decision is.
I'm not like that. But if you sincerely feel moving on is going to be the best decision for you, talk to the people that care about your child. If you say, well, the coach he was playing for didn't care about him, well, you didn't do a very good job of reading people from the beginning. All right, so you have to kind of look at yourself on that. But I do believe most coaches, if you say I'm gonna leave, okay, let's sit down and talk. Let's figure out what's gonna be a better situation for you. Good luck. Good luck. But children, student athletes, If you're going home and not being honest to your parents about your work ethic, I tell my kids it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And let's say, well, I went to all the workouts, but did you kill the drills? Did you attack every rep? Did you destroy every opportunity you had to get better by just going all out? Or you just did it?
To get through it. So that kid that's
attacking every rep is going to be on the floor. Yeah, you were at workouts and you might get a little bit better by default. But if you aren't being honest, you're transferring to go through the same exact situation
that you went through.
Okay? Yeah. I think a lot of the transfer situation comes from, and I'm not trying to talk about anybody, but you can't run from every tough situation you go through. Sometimes you got to kind of stick your feet in the ground and push back and be like, okay, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to fight. And I know something good can come from this situation. Most people are in fear of time because you don't get time back. And that might be like, I don't have time not to start again. Okay? But before you transfer, I want you to look at the entire picture and make sure that mirror is very clean and clear so you can see the reflection that it is giving off and it can be honest with you. Because if your mirror is dirty and your mirror is cloudy, the reflection is going to be flawed and you're not going to see everything that you need to see. So you need to clean that mirror and make sure it's standing upright so when you look in it, you can be like, okay, this is what I could have done better. This is what I want more out of the next program I go to. If not, you're basically continuing the cycle.
As we said in one of the previous segments, self-reflection is one of the hardest things for people to do.
Yeah.
It just is. I don't understand it. I guess when I was younger, it was hard. Now it's become a little bit easier. Because you understand the consequences of looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. It just is what it is. You have to look at yourself, tear the mask away, and say, "Hey, look, I'm not that good. I made this mistake." When I was at Denmark, we lost in the second round. We lost in the second round of the playoffs because I made a decision to keep a kid on the floor rather than take him out because we were rolling better with him off the floor. But because he got us there, I kept him on the floor, and that was my decision. That wasn't the kid's fault. That was my fault. Mm-hmm. I had to eat that, and I don't know how many other people. I know the people in my circle do, but outside of that, the kids have to with this transfer thing. It has become, you say, it's a pandemic. Like it is so widespread. It's on every level. It is an eye thing. Mm-hmm. It is if you can't come. I had last off season. I had a kid that was going to transfer. I had two that were going to transfer. Both of them talked. One talked to me. The other one I had to seek him out to talk to him.
So yeah, I've had that situation too recently. You just have to seek the parent out, seek the kid out,
and just to talk to him. Yeah, I spoke to one, and what I said was, "Listen, I'm not going to stop you from making the decision that you're going to make. All you need to know is that the decision that you make is final. All right. Once you make this decision, there's no coming back here. There's nothing to come back to." I said, so what you need to know is, do you want to leave the known for the unknown? Do you want to try to grind this out? Do you want to try to prove something? Or is it that you want to go and you want to try to prove something there? There's nothing wrong with making the decision to go. I support whichever one you're going to do. I said, but you have to understand the consequences to making these decisions are, one, if you stay, stuff still going to be rough.
Right.
If you go, it's going to be rough, but it's going to be rough in a situation that you don't know. The other kid, I sought him out. He didn't have much to say. I talked to him. He didn't have much to say. And it wasn't a sense in talking to them to get them to stay. It was to understand that I support them. Matter of fact, the kid I sought out, the school he was supposed to transfer to, I called the coach for him. I said, "Hey, man, you're getting a great kid. He's a baller. I'm sad I'm losing him. But you're getting a great kid. I mean, he is a good, and he's going to make your team instantly better." The kid ended up going to another school. But, because of the way I am, I reached out to where he was supposed to be going. And had I known he was going to that school, I'd have reached out to that coach. Yeah. Because apparently this is what you want to do. But that last minute shiftiness, that this and that kind of turning of the corner like that, it sometimes puts you in a position where you go, okay, I can only cook with the ingredients I got. Because what needs to be understood, and I don't know if Coach agrees with me on this, or any coaches out there agree with me with this, but on November 27th or 26th, I'm like 20th or 28th, is my first game. A ball's going to be jumped up. And if I have to have all JV players out there or whatever, I have to coach a game. Whether that kid that transferred is there, he didn't transfer, or he did transfer. So once that happens, I'm still going to help out as much as I can. But I still have to focus on what is here with me at the current moment, because I still have a job to do here.
Right.
I can't focus on that.
And I just want folks to know, I'm coming at you from a knowledge perspective. Okay?
Yeah.
True story. I fiend to have a six-pack. I work out hard with Michael Kurtz, the best high school, one of the best, not even high school, one of the best strength coaches in the nation. He worked me out this morning really hard. Rollouts, pull-ups, deadlifts, everything. In my mind, I should have a six-pack. But when I look in the mirror, I ate 10 donut holes from Dunkin' Donuts on the way to the workout. So I'm not going to have the six-pack that I so-called desire until I change my diet. That's me looking in the mirror being honest. From a mental and abstract perspective to a physical perspective when I actually look in it. Okay? People, I'm coming from a caring knowledge perspective. You're going to transfer in sports. I'm not here to fight that. I'm not even trying to change that.
Not at all.
But I want you to learn to focus on yourself as far as the element of getting better, so you don't make the same mistakes when you go to a new environment, a new situation. I can't leave Anywhere Tech and go to over there university with the same mindset, because ultimately you're probably going to come back with the same results. So you have to sincerely look. Don't talk about what the coach didn't do. Don't talk about what I didn't have or how unfair it was. Look at what you can do better to make your look at what you can do to make your situation better. So if I took 500 shots a week, I need to take 1,500 at this new place. If I worked out twice a week, I probably need to start working out 4 times a week at this new place. Because if you don't change, like you said, the ingredients in the recipe, you're cooking the same dish. Okay? And if you're cooking the same dish, you're not going to have a different taste in your mouth. Okay? So it's imperative, it's extremely imperative that you change. Because at the end of the day, even if you do me dirt, I'm going to still wish you well. Mm-hmm. Because my faith doesn't allow me to judge or condemn. So I'm going to wish you well. I might be disappointed that you left. Hell, I might even be hurt. But at the end of the day, I'm going to wish you well. You might even do it the wrong way and put yourself in some situations that you shouldn't be in. And I might even try to fight to help you with that, even when you're gone. But look in that mirror. Use me as an example. My six-pack would never come.
As long as you keep it them donut holes.
Them donut holes are real, though. They real. Like, it ain't nothing like a small donut hole. I wouldn't say ball. That don't sound right.
At all.
It sounds like just eating that thing is so good. Micah, I'm sorry. I know you didn't know I was eating donut holes when I came in the weight room today. Micah is going to be joining us soon on the show. But
okay, good.
I'm sorry. But like I know my six-pack isn't coming until I change my diet. Your success in whatever sport you play, whether you transfer, like I said, from Anywhere Tech to over there university, is not going to come until you change your perspective, change your mindset, change your approach. Because it's usually not the coach. And I'm not taking up for coaches because that's why I'm not going to fight. Because, like, here's the thing. On a college level, high school, I'm not going to fight you transferring to go to a better situation. Because if a coach gets a better situation,
he's going to go.
He's going to go. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, you have to do what you feel is best for you. I am very big on loyalty. And one part of loyalty is being honest with the people that you're in the cut with. Mm-hmm. Whoever you're in that foxhole with, you have to be honest with them. Okay? And you might be like, this is a better situation. If I'm a coach and I'm about to get another job, I'm going to talk to my players. I'm going to let them know what's going on. I'm not just going to up and leave like a thief in the night and they have no idea I left.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to have that hard conversation with my players and let them know, look, I'm probably going to be leaving. It's a great chance I'm leaving. It hurts, but this is going to put my family in a better situation. So just talk to the people around you. Don't let them find out through the grapevine or through the wind.
Media,
and when you do transfer, or if you are going to transfer, I pray you don't have to transfer because if you're because that means you aren't in the situation you feel is ideal for you. Mm-hmm. I hope you find the ideal situation for you, and that's almost impossible to do. You can work towards a more ideal situation, young people. You can grind towards a better situation, young people. But it's very hard to be a piece of a puzzle and just fit perfectly in the slot.
Because life doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. and from my experience, man, how long God blessed me to be on this earth, I don't see it changing. No. You're going to have to work to make your situation better. You're going to have to be able to bend and fold and not break. But
you have to adapt.
You're going to transfer. That's fine. And like one of the coaches said on my page, it's nothing we can do about the transfer situation. But from a knowledge perspective, look in that mirror and don't make the same mistakes twice. Don't go around with the same mindsets twice, because if you do, you're basically just going to be continuing the wheel and that's how it is. But just follow proper protocol when you transfer. I'm not going to fight it because coaches are going to leave for a better situation for them. You got to feel what you feel is best for you, a better situation for you. But do it the right way
and make an informed decision.
Yeah, make an informed. Don't just do it because somebody that does this on the side says, "Man, that ain't right. You should be doing this," and you be like, "Yeah, you're right. It's not right." Mm. They're not in the cut with you. They're not in that foxhole with you. So sometimes it might be something as simple as, man, coach, what's going on while I'm not on the floor? And that coach pull out that workout sheet. You see this? You came to 3 workouts, then you missed 2. You came to 2 workouts, then you missed 1. Then you didn't even show up for a week. Yeah. So it might just be something as simple as your work ethic being consistent. It might be something as simple as you thought the coach felt that way about you, but you don't. It might be something. My wife says this all the time. It might be something as simple as patience. No one wants to hurry up and wait anymore. Everyone wants it right now.
Yeah.
That's not life. Babies aren't conceived and born the next day. You know why? Because they have to grow, they have to develop, and they have to get their strength up. Okay? You're not going to go in the weight room for the first time and bench 225 and squat 315.
It's going to take time.
It takes time. You have to hurry up and wait. But like Coach English said in the beginning, the people, and I'm so tired of people using the word, process. You don't even know what it takes to be in a good process. So stop telling these young people that unless you're telling them what it really means to fall in love with the process. What does it mean to fall in love with the process? You have to fiend to be exhausted. You have to fiend to be in an uncomfortable situation. You have to want to be in the elements where it seems like it's always something better to do because I'm constantly being pushed. I'm constantly being pulled. That's the process. That's how you get better, and that's how you grow. But here's the thing. If you don't believe in that process and you don't grind and you don't work, you aren't going to grow. Because you aren't you're not coming with the right mindset to be patient. And sometimes you gotta wait your turn. I just heard the announcer on ESPN say the number 2 draft pick in the NFL for the Chicago Bears this year came in as an unknown quarterback and got drafted number 2 in the NFL. Imagine if that young man would have said, whatever, man, don't nobody know me, so I'm gonna transfer to this school.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to fall in love with the element of working hard and growing. If not, you're going to be bouncing around the rest of your life. You're going to be uncoachable kids turn into uncoachable adults. and you're going to be bouncing around from job to job because I don't like this supervisor or he shouldn't have talked to me like that. You got to be tougher than that. You got to be tough. But Coach English said, be informed and do what's best for you.
All right. Last topic of the day is social media. And let me tell you, I went to that same clinic I talked about last week. Coach said in the process, when kids fill out the information, they ask them for an email. And what some of them do is they run the email through every social media site. And as your pages pop up and as the kids' pages pop up, they click on friends, they click on photos, they look at posts, they take time to get to know the kid through the social media. That's one of the steps of their recruiting process. Mm-hmm. If it's Instagram, they definitely look at the photos. Facebook friends, they look at the friends' photos. They look at the people that's following them photos. So you have to kind of make sure that you're associating yourself and carrying yourself with some form of decorum on social media and not being reckless and having gang signs up and reposting lewd videos or profane language. And I mean, shoot, they're doing that at jobs now. So for a kid, for a kid who's trying to go to college and they look in your social media and you are a minor acting recklessly, and it's something as simple as, Herman would says it all the time. Don't press send. Just don't press send. You don't have to post everything that's going on. And I'm not saying that you should be in things that are not going on, but you got to be careful what you share, what people post on your post, what people post on your page. There's a lot of times people post something on something I posted I have to delete. And then I text them, hey dog, don't do that. One time somebody had to check me as an adult coach because I reposted something I shouldn't have. It's just, it is what it is. Social media can boost you. It can be a very good boosting tool for you, or it can break you in half.
I enjoy social media at times. Every now and then I fast from it because it gets too much sometimes, and you just gotta escape from the pool of the world. But social media is it's not even just a big part of young people's lives. It's a big part of adult lives. It's just a part of our world right now. Old folks, young folks, middle-aged folks, we use social media, and it's going to be a part of our lives probably until we're gone, to see our maker. But you have to have a certain level of responsibility with social media. I think social media can be embraced to be a beautiful thing because you can connect with people from all over the world.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, you have to be careful because you don't want negative influences from all over the world. Parents, I'm not going to lie, parents, I do think you need to monitor your children's social media at a very high level and be very detailed when you monitor it. Like, pay very close attention.
I have Kayla's 13. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and her mom and I just decided to let her get on social media. And she said, well, which one do you want her to have? I said, well, we trust Kayla, I just don't trust the outside world. So we let her have an Instagram, something that we can track. We don't have to worry about monitoring 3 and 4 different things. Kayla has been very responsible with it. I do still check it, and I go into the DMs and I make sure that what she's posting is correct and things like that. But me and her talk. It's not only about social media, and I think from a parent standpoint and your kid, you have to not only look at it, but you have to have open conversation with the kids, educating them on why you can't particularly do this, or why you can't post that, and why you can't say this. So me and her always have an open conversation. We haven't had to have anything crazy just yet, but for the most part, it's just been, hey, don't allow people to tag you to stuff that are not that Daddy ain't gonna like. Because I have your best interests at heart, and you should start to know. You should know by now what's the what. And so I was having a discussion with my students, and they said, "Man, Coach, that's crazy. You really check?" I said, "Yes, I do." I said, "The world is crazy."
Yeah, you got it. You got to really teach young people to be responsible, because see, social media is now a part of their voice, and you have to get young folks also to understand that social media, all of it isn't real. Don't let these people trick you and make them think that's how it really is. It's not. Okay, a lot of social media is a show to put up this belief of how things really are, but it's not. But even that could be fun in a way, but you got to be able to keep everything in perspective. You can't get on social media and think it's going to show you the way from a quote, or you might meet your next husband. No, because that's not real connections. Don't allow social media to destroy and this is what I'm afraid of it for. It's destroying people's ability to connect physically and for real. Everything is a tap of the finger instead of it's a finger tap instead of a handshake. It's a like instead of a verbal compliment. So it's taken away, and I'm not saying I'm trying to fight against that, because time brings on changes in technology, and you will get left behind. But we have to make sure that we're still teaching our kids how to function in a society where they still have to communicate physically with people. They have to know how to look someone in the eye and shake their hand, or give a sound compliment. But you have to really, like you said, have those conversations with your kids. Monitor it, and make sure they're not living a secret life through social media. Also, that's big. And with that, I think it's some great benefits from it. I think it could be fun. I think it could be entertaining and very informative, and you can make connections. And you can show a great outfit every now and then, or show who your boo is on a Woman Crush Wednesday or a Man Crush Monday. I don't get many of those. Trying to throw some shade at my wife. I think I only got one Man Crush Monday my whole life.
I don't think I've ever had any.
Yeah, well, you're not as sexy as me, big
dog.
Oh,
see, here we go. Here we go with this.
I wouldn't really expect you to get more than me, but but long story short, man, as we wrap this show up, folks, just monitor that social media. Young people, be responsible and think about your posts. Think about them. Don't use social media as a tool to build your confidence or make you develop higher self-esteem, because you don't need that. Believe in yourself no matter what. You're beautiful, you're young, and you're great. No red heart on Instagram or a blue thumbs up on Facebook plays any role on how great and fantastic you are. So don't allow social media to be that part of your life. Believe in yourself no matter what.
No matter what, and become a part of the conversation at the Staley and English Show at gmail.com. That's the Staley and English Show at gmail.com. Email us your comments, criticisms, whatever you want to say, and we'll shout you out on the next podcast. Until then, I'm Coach English.
I'm Coach Staley. Keep your eyes open for the next Workout Warrior, which we'll be posting tomorrow evening, afternoon sometimes. Be blessed. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. Talk to you soon.